This has been a very weird summer for Rodrygo. First, he loses his place in the 11, and then there's been a lot of uncertainty with his future at Real Madrid. And reports a few days ago told us that he was going to be staying for the upcoming season. But I think teams are still looking in that market for a left winger. And let's be very honest, the left wingers that have been available and the left wingers that teams are being linked to are all shit in comparison to Rodrygo. We're talking about the Mumbai Neymar, the New Delhi Messi, the Bangladeshian Ronaldo, the Sri Lankan Ronaldinho. We're talking about an absolute baller here, a player that if given the opportunity to play consistently on his preferred side, which is on the left, can become one of the best in the world. A player that if some of these teams that are linked to him, if they go and buy him, it could be the difference between going trophyless or winning some silverware next season. I still think the jury is out on whether Rodrygo leaves or not. Now, this summer has not gone the way that I thought it would for him. I thought Rodrygo, especially after that Club World Cup and seeing the lack of minutes that he got throughout that tournament, I thought he would go and hand in a transfer request. Real Madrid have made it very clear that they're not going to force him out of the club. If he leaves, it's because he made the decision to leave and go elsewhere. It's not because we necessarily want him to. So Rodrygo has not requested a transfer. Actually, no player has requested a transfer from Real Madrid. This is why we haven't sold any first-team players this summer. It's actually crazy when you think about it. But I think even though Rodrygo has not formally requested to leave, there's still elite clubs in Europe that can use his services. Now, there's three that I'm seeing him get linked to the most. And we're going to look at some reports and we're going to dissect it and break it down like a kilo of cocaine. Look, we're back on narco settings on Football Carnage. But we got to look at Liverpool, Arsenal, and PSG. Now, we know that Rodrygo was linked to Tottenham a few weeks ago. But let's be honest. Why would Rodrygo massively downgrade like that, right? Going from Real Madrid to Tottenham is like driving a Lamborghini to work every day, and then you got to trade in the Lamborghini and walk. That's the kind of downgrade that it is, right? Now, obviously, whenever you leave Real Madrid, you're not going to be at a club that's of similar stature because there's nobody else that can contest us for the biggest clubs in the world. But Liverpool, Arsenal, PSG, they are amongst the best in Europe. And let's talk about how certain scenarios could play out. So I need you guys to get in the comment section and let me know what you predict happens to Rodrygo by the end of this transfer window. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those post notifications. Let's get it. So before we get into the reports, I just want to say this. Initially, I predicted Rodrygo to leave this summer. I thought that when Xabi Alonso decided to not use him throughout the Club World Cup, that would be the writing on the wall. I thought Rodrygo would hand in a transfer request and then we would get a bidding war. He still wants to stay at the club. He still wants to fight for his spot, and he wants to prove to Xabi Alonso that he can be a contributing member of this team. Now, that's a good thing for us because having a player like Rodrygo in your team is going to benefit you, regardless of if he's starting or not. But we only have a few weeks left in this transfer window. So the longer that this carries out, I don't think we should be selling him. Because obviously, if Rodrygo leaves, you're going to have to go into the market and buy somebody, either a midfielder or another attacker. And the longer this deal takes to happen with any club, the price goes up when we try and go into the market. Because towards the end of the window, when you're trying to buy other teams' players so late, they usually ask for a crazy amount of money because they might not have time to go get a replacement. So the longer that this takes, the more confident I am that he will stay at the club. But I do believe we will start to see some offers being sent. Now, Indy Kayla, who is a big journalist, right? And he's mostly known for Liverpool news, and he is a ITK who does have sources. He dropped an exclusive. He says Liverpool and Arsenal have both contacted Real Madrid to inquire on Rodrygo for a loan with an obligation to buy in the summer of 2026. Now, I'm not sure about you guys, but I don't really like hearing loan, right? With obligation to buy does make it sound better, but I would think Real Madrid would want the money this summer, right? Any loan with an obligation to buy, the only way that I would do this is if the obligation is 100 million euros. No, forget euros. 100 million pounds. Because I believe Rodrygo is worth that. When you look at what he's done at Real Madrid, the big goals that he's scored, the important moments that he's played a huge part in, coming off the bench, bagging against Man City, right? Being crucial in Champions League runs, La Liga wins, Copa del Rey, Club World Cups. Rodrygo has been a big member of our team. We brought this guy in from Brazil, from Santos at 18 years old. And the guy has transformed himself into one of the most dangerous attackers in world football. 100 million pounds minimum for an obligation. And when I look at the two options, you got Liverpool and Arsenal. And we're going to talk about Liverpool after Arsenal because the Liverpool links, it's a bit tricky. It seems like he's not their first choice. He's not even their second choice. They're saying that Rodrygo is Liverpool's plan C. And the disrespect to my Indian winger is a madness. So we'll break that down. But when I look at Arsenal, clearly they needed to revamp their attack during this transfer window. And they kind of did that, right? Like they went out there, and even though I don't rate Madueke, they dropped big money on him. Another Chelsea reject going to Arsenal. Makes no sense to me, but Arsenal and Chelsea seem to have a good relationship when it comes to Arsenal taking the unwanted players. They also went out there and signed Gyökeres. Arsenal's attack, in my opinion, is 2 out of 3 complete. You have Saka on the right, Gyökeres down the middle, but that left wing is still a massive problem. Martinelli is not good enough, Trossard is not good enough, Madueke is not good enough. Now, Rodrygo seemed like the choice that Arsenal wanted to go after, but I think because of his high wages, they decided to not really go in for this move. But I think with the window closing, it doesn't look like they're going to sign Eze. Those rumors have died down. Yeah, Arsenal, they do need to upgrade their attack. That left wing is wide open for Rodrygo to walk into their team. And I think that gives them one of the best front threes in the Premier League and in Europe. Rodrygo would be a player that can be the difference for them going trophyless again or winning the Premier League. There's a lot of pressure on them to get over the line, right? Like Arteta needs to win either the Prem or the UCL this season, or he needs to be sacked. And a player like Rodrygo, the experience that he would bring, I'm telling you, he could be the difference. Now, when it comes to Liverpool, this is why we got to look at this a little bit differently, because it says Liverpool consider Rodrygo as their plan C this summer. Their plan A is Alexander Isak, and their plan B is Bradley Barcola. Now, this to me is a madness. I get why Alexander Isak would be plan A, right? And Rodrygo this past season was very inconsistent. But to say that he's your plan C behind Bradley Barcola when Rodrygo, the best version of Rodrygo is clear of the best version of Barcola. Let's be very honest. Barcola is a mediocre player. The guy has a lot of pace and he has some decent tech. In the final third, he's shit. His decision-making is not good. He's not a better finisher than Rodrygo. He doesn't link play better than Rodrygo. He's not a better player, period, than Rodrygo. If I was Rodrygo, there's no way I go to Liverpool. This to me is a disrespect. And the thing is, Real Madrid are open to selling Rodrygo. PSG are not open to selling Bradley Barcola. And the thing is, PSG are a very hard team to do business with. They are not a selling club. They want to sign Barcola to a new contract. So why would he be your plan B and Rodrygo would be your plan C when Real Madrid are open to Rodrygo leaving if a good offer comes in? I don't understand that at all. Now, what's funny with this PSG link is that Rodrygo has emerged as a potential PSG target if Barcola makes a move to Liverpool, then PSG would want Rodrygo. This to me would be dumb. Because I don't think currently, with the way that PSG are playing, with the season that they just had, winning the treble, I don't see how Rodrygo gets into their team. So why would Rodrygo leave Real Madrid to go sit on PSG's bench? He's not going to get in over Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, or Desiree Doué at the moment. So why go to PSG? That would be a very weird move to me. It seems like the only two options that make sense is the Liverpool or Arsenal links, because both of their left wings are wide open. PSG, they don't even need wingers, bro. Like PSG, if they want to buy an attacker, they need to get a striker. That's what they should be doing. So I think Arsenal makes some sense. Liverpool makes a lot of sense as well. I think Liverpool would be the best option, though, because with the summer that they're having, they look like they're going to win the Premier League. And I think if they sign a player like Rodrygo, they don't need him to win the Prem, but I think that would greatly increase their odds to win the UCL. But ultimately, I hope that Rodrygo stays. I hope that those reports of him not wanting to go anywhere are true. And I hope that we have him heading into next season, because I do believe that Rodrygo will get opportunities, because it's a long season. Players are going to get injured, right? If you look at Vinicius, he's not been on the best form. Maybe Xabi Alonso drops Vinny at some point, or drops Mbappe, and then Rodrygo gets some minutes. He will get an opportunity. I would like to see him stay at Real Madrid, and I hope that he doesn't leave on like a deadline day or something crazy like that. But we will see rumors come in over the next few weeks until this transfer window closes. And along with an obligation to buy, I guess it makes sense, but only if the obligation is 100 million pounds. Because now imagine, right, if the obligation is like 80 million or something crazy like that. And then let's say Rodrygo goes on and has a world-class season. Now they're going to be getting this player for practically nothing, right? So whenever there's an obligation to buy attached to a loan, I always want a high obligation fee, because we all know what this player is capable of. And I don't want to risk any team getting a steal by getting him in for a low obligation. But look, smash that like button, get in the comment section. Let me know what you think about Rodrygo and the possible options that he has. Where do you think he goes? Or do you think he stays at Real Madrid?